Meet the Mathewsons. They're a dynasty of dealers
It drives really well.
with a love of classics.
It's only condensation.
In Thornton-le-Dale, gateway to the North York Moors, they auction over 2,000 rare vehicles every year.
42,000, the ready type, the stunning car.
All walks of life. The cars fetch people together.
I'm ecstatic.
Head of the family, Derek.
It's got to be the best job ever, isn't it? We're sort of living a dream.
Trusted lieutenants, sons Paul
Not everybody's cup of tea.
and Dave.
There's Dad's way, and there's Dad's way.
Keeping them all in check and dealing with the punters, Sarah.
Somebody could ring today with some fabulous vehicle that's been sat in a barn for 50 years. You have no clue.
It's the chase, it's finding it. So you get up every morning thinking, what am I going to find today?
This is a family's love affair with cars that have lived a life.
Someone's cherished a car and loved it, and I think it's just great. I think it's absolutely superb.
A passion that can be turned into brass. On sale this week.
Mercedes 350 SL, a little bit of weekend work.
They've been put in here about 20 years ago.
1989 XJS 3.6.
You think, it's scrap. But someone just might do it.
What a runner. Smooth as silk, this car.
Rover 2000 SC, Zircon Blue, best colour.
Supercar. I think it's great. I think it's going to sell well. It'd be a shame if it don't, because someone will buy himself a beautiful car by the looks of it.
1966 Triumph Spitfire, red one. Will not find better, cannot imagine better.
In effect, it's a brand new Triumph Spitfire. So I'm not sure you'd find another one.
It's the start of another day at Mathewson's, and Derek has several important issues on his mind.
Morning.
You all right?
Yes, you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, all right, Dave? All right, good. Need the wagon.
Yeah, no, go and get it.
I've got to nip up track and just get a pair of boots. I can't be messing around with these ballet shoes any longer and drive me farm.
You're taking out ballet?
I would train ballet dance for me. Do you not know that?
Should see him in tight.
Oh, you should see me. I mean, yeah. I mean, little tutu. Ooh.
Don't tell everybody you've got a little tutu. Put yourself down,
I
Dan.
tend to keep that to myself. Right, I'm going to go and get my boots.
Have you looked in the memorabilia section recently?
No, I haven't looked in there for shoes. No, we don't get too many shoes, do we?
Today, grandson Jack will be leading the advance party on a rare double barn find. Derek will follow after he's dealt with the cobblers.
I'll meet you at Halifax then, yeah?
You've got the postcode?
Yeah.
You got it all? Good show. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It has all the makings of a chaotic day.
Father and Jack are on a mystery tour. Well, I think Jack's on a mystery tour. He's going here, there and everywhere, isn't he? And then Father's going to Sheffield via Wakefield.
He likes to be out and about, mooching about, and he doesn't always tell me where he is. Which is fine, that's okay.
All right.
The place he's supposed to eventually arrive at is Nick Walker's chicken farm near Halifax. In one of the barns, a clutch of classics that has seen better days.
They've been put in here about 20 years ago. We've got a Mercedes 350 SL, which is a hard top that lifts off. It's a convertible, and it has a soft top that folds away down inside. The one under the other sheet is a Jaguar XJS. My father bought them both. He bought this one first from an undertaker, and he used that for quite a few years just as a Sunday car, as a vest car. And then he bought the Jaguar. Didn't use either of them an awful lot, but just on a sunny day, he'd go out up the dales and enjoy himself.
Coming after the beloved E-Type, The XJS was always going to have a hard time, but the Brief was a top-end sports cruiser that could eat miles. And if you had shares in a petrol company, it did that job in comfort and style. The early models weren't so reliable, but Jaguar persevered, and once people got used to the flying buttress rear pillars, the sales kept coming. In 21 years of production, Jaguar sold 115,000 of them. Das Mercedes SL hit the road in '71, a unisex V8 convertible with optional hardtop. It wasn't a country club like the XJS, more a Mayfair disco. And if you add in the bigger SLC, 300,000 of them were sold in 18 years of production. Nick's dad, Arthur, passed away 4 years ago. Looking at his cars now, it's easy to forget that both models were pick of the crop in their day.
The SL is a 1972, it's the original K registered. It was driven into here, so it was in working order, but it's just stood here, and obviously over the years the body's deteriorated. The Jaguar, that is in better condition on the outside. Inside it's quite a nice car, cream leather upholstery, walnut dash and wood on the steering wheel, so it would have been a very nice car at one time. If we don't do anything with them, they'll just stay here till they just collapse on the floor. So, we just thought it was time to move on.
Yep.
Conveniently, Derek is still faffing around at the garage, although he does now have some stylish new work boots.
What you bought great clumsy rigger boots for?
Because there ain't nothing else. Other than trainers. I can't buy trainers, but anyway, 20 quid.
Leaving Jack and his mate Jordan to figure out how to get the cars onto a trailer.
That's the XJS.
Yeah.
That's the Mercedes.
All right.
Whether the wheels will turn, I don't know.
We'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
Right. Whenever Grandad says it's one for you, it's always going to be a bit of a tricky one. But if it's a brand new Bentley and it's easy to get out, he goes, doesn't he? That'll do for now, mate. We're going to have to run an extension lead in to pump them tyres up, or that's not going to move at all. Right, let's see what it does. Yeah, all right. Is that wheel locking up?
Well, it looks very nice. I'm just wondering whether I should be getting rid of it now. I think I should be keeping that. Just needs a wash and a wax and away we go.
That'll do.
Derek's arrived.
You got some new boots.
Well, I had to invest in
Hey, look at them.
Sick and tired of my bally shoes.
He's been here before with barn finds. Family heirlooms and managed expectations.
If they can be brought back to life, they most definitely shouldn't be scrapped. But people don't abandon Escorts and Anglias and stuff like that. Whoever owns them needs that money back out of the car. But people seem to think that you can put a Jaguar or a Mercedes in a garage forevermore and it's going to retain its value.
A little bit of left.
And it's so wrong, obviously, because they depreciate just like everything else.
They haven't actually cost me anything, so we'll wait and be advised by Derek what they might fetch at auction, and then we'll decide then if we're going to put a reserve on and what that reserve will be.
Borderline, mate, very much borderline.
It was offered 750 just for the hard top.
Right, if you can get 750 for the top, that's the way to do it, mate. Other than that, it's 200 quid scrap, isn't it, on a good day?
Yeah.
Fortunately, Nick, we're very often very pleasantly surprised.
Derek will take the Mercedes, but there'll be no reserve on either of the cars when they go to auction.
Power steering jack on this. Righto, Nick, give it a little tug, mate. Yeah, they're all turning, we're okay. It's debatable. You think, it's scrap, nothing you can do with it. You can see the good bits about it, alloys, hard top, hopefully a good soft top. Bumpers look decent, and they do rot out quite bad on the corners. Lovely, that'll do. First impressions I get is that it's well past it. But
We're very lucky where we are. We get a lot of worker guys. They really get stuck in, and someone just might do it.
The once luxurious early Mercedes 350 SL from 1971 and the once glamorous Jaguar XJS from 1989 have made it to the garage. Paul is staying diplomatically neutral.
I was hoping we could roll it straight back down beyond the junction and then tow her straight round. So there, mate, you're not going to get any more in there.
We need optimists here, not pessimists.
You can't knock a 350 SL. Oh dear, maybe you can that one. Yeah. A little bit of drama on there, isn't it?
I think it's already had a knock, Derek.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, it's exceptionally nice inside, isn't it? Other than that little bit there.
A really good clean would result in an extremely tidy interior, wouldn't it? Too good to break. Someone will do that.
It's really nice inside. You can't drive it anywhere, you can't do anything with it. But you could sit in it, I suppose. Mount a TV on the bonnet.
Don't go and scratch that bonnet. The good thing about it is a 350 SL, simple as that. If it was a saloon of some description, an old 123 series or something like that, nothing at all. But it's an SL. Eh? Exceptional, isn't it? You don't see many like it, do you?
Fortunately not.
Wind up windows, see-through glass, pump up tyres, what more do you want? Go for it.
Sharing Dad's optimism, Paul.
No, not really, mate. Far from it.
What a runner. Smooth as silk, this car.
He'll have as much respect for that old thing there as he would something that's beautiful, you know. I just wish I had a tenth of it, really.
We're back. We can get up here, we're away.
Right-handed smidgen when you can.
Oh, look at that.
When it comes to cars of pedigree, Derek believes where there's a will, there's a way. It might make no sense, but that's not the point.
If you've got a bit of savvy and a bit of go about you, you're not taking on anything terribly difficult. You know, you need compression and a spark, don't you, in the right order, and a bit of fuel, that's all you need. I can remember now as though it was yesterday, making 2 front wheel arches, but I remember having to make them because you couldn't buy them. Now, they're everywhere, aren't they? You know, almost Tesco's are selling them.
If Paul was having any thoughts of standard slipping, the next collection should keep his pecker up. In an unassuming workshop in Malton. Only the finest of the fine roll out of these doors.
People bring us cars and say, can you just do that, can you just do that, can you just do that? We then have a laugh and say, well, not really, you need to do all this and all that. And we discuss money and we have another laugh and then we get on with it. And basically we just revive old motor cars.
But Martin Morocco and his fellow engineer Ryan don't just revive them. Some, like this Triumph Spitfire from 1966, end up being better than when they left the factory.
Ryan and I were out collecting a big car, an Aston Martin actually. Nestling at the back of the garage, covered in dust, was the little Spitfire, and it was remarkably solid. We thought someone ought to save that. Every now and again, we take a car and we restore it, just working on a Saturday in the odd evening. Although we do it all the time, that's how we unwind. We do one of our own cars.
So a couple of Saturdays later and you've got this?
A couple of years worth of Saturdays later, yeah.
Getting a car to this standard requires an obsessive personality.
Yeah, it's certainly as good as you're going to get, isn't it? I like you got the rocker cover the right colour. Credit to you.
When Derek came to see the Spitfire a few weeks ago, Martin was midway through a major headache. A Lancia Flavia Vignale from 1964, full of surprises.
Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it?
It's gone like that and the door gaps opened up and they've welded it together with the door gaps opened up. So we're going to take that away, that'll weaken this corner. We're then going to cut this away here and we're going to get this back in line.
unfortunately, you sometimes find a can of worms, don't you? And in fact, you always find a can of worms, not sometimes,
Yeah,
is it?
it's just a case of how big the can is.
Yeah, exactly. How many worms you got in it?
Fortunately, the Spitfire didn't require this level of resuscitation, but the work was extensive.
Although there was no significant rust on the car, it was covered in minor dents and the paint had faded. It had got surface rust here and there, but no rot. Yeah, I know it's been rebuilt, I know it's been repainted, but it's never been welded and it's never been messed with. In effect, it's a brand new 1966 Triumph Spitfire. So I'm not sure you'd find another one.
So you've never really driven it far?
No, not really. I don't want to get it dirty underneath. For me, the fun is in the restoration. They've got to go to a good home, really. But I know it's going to fund the next one and make space for the next one.
Jack has arrived to transport the Mint Triumph to Mathewsons.
Oh, look at that. Oh, you could have polished it for us, couldn't you? Look at that. Oh, wow, you have done a good job, haven't you?
I could never recover the cost of the time that's gone into this vehicle. You can't make money on these cars. Very, very seldom you can make any money. If I can get back the cost of the parts,
Spot on.
then I would be fairly happy with that. I'd like to get about £15,000 back for it. We'll see what Derek says.
It's the morning of the auction and the day of reckoning for the slightly worse for wear Mercedes SL and the slightly past its best Jaguar XJS. There's no way Derek's going to tackle these two on an empty stomach.
What are you having for breakfast, Derek?
Two of the foods that won the Second World War, John. One of them being corned beef and the other one being fish paste. And the reason I'm having a fish paste sandwich is because that's all there is.
Cat food, sandwiches.
And when you say it's the only thing that's left, presumably not from the war.
Hello, it's Derek. Is that Mrs. Stockwell? I've got a message to give you a call, love, but I can't remember what it was about. Get down there and Derek, go on. That's it.
You like cats, Derek?
Love them, yeah, but I couldn't eat a whole one.
Outside, the pair of crumbling prestige cars are starting to attract attention.
I mean, obviously, you're looking for any major rust. The bodywork is acceptable. You know, it's not like it can't be brought back from the edge. Yeah, I think we'll certainly see what happens when the paddles start going up and down.
As the crowds start to build, hopes are high that some of the confusing memorabilia will finally leave the garage.
That provides the power, the rotation of the drill, and that one on the top provides the pressure. It's a pillar drill.
I think I might thin it out a little bit, to be honest.
It's usually left to Sarah to sort through all these rare artifacts, but this auction was different.
Paul was helping with the memorabilia last week and he's really good at it. I was struggling like carrying some stuff and lifting. He was like, oh, I'll do this. He was like,
Oh, Jesus.
we should get, he's like a superhero, so we're going to get him a lycra leotard with MM on it, memorabilia man.
Memorabilia man.
It needs to sort of cling in all the right places, doesn't it? Or a little cape and anything. And a mask. Oh, I do like a mask.
Right, here we have the star of the show, the Mercedes 350 SL, a little bit of weekend work, as we say. We all know the hard tops are £1,000, so let's not be daft. Where do you want to be with it? Where? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 1800 out the back, £1,900, 19, £2,000, £2,000 on the way, 2,100 on the left, 2,100, 2-1, 350 SL, cheapest one in the world ever. 2,100, all done. 2-2, 2,002, 2,250, 2,253, 2,003, 2,350. Are you all done? You sure? 2,350, 2,4, 2,400. You sure? 2,004. Sold 2,004.
The Merc goes for a good price to a brave private buyer. Not a bad start for previous owner Nick.
It went very well, yes. We hadn't sort of any idea whether it fetched a few hundred or a few thousand. It's a fair enough price. There's a lot of money to be spent on it for somebody restoring it, but maybe worth more to them in parts, I don't know, but I hope they restore it anyway.
And it's not over yet. Against the odds, other fearless potential buyers are considering Nick's 1989 Jaguar XJS.
The interior looks clean on it. It's no reserve. It's been stood for 20 years. It's not high mileage, so it might be a car worth restoring.
1989 XJS 3.6. Start me on it. Where are we going to be? 500 here on the left, 500 in the doorway, £500, 550, 600, 600, 650, 650, 750, 800, £800, 850, 850. Make a car, 850, £900, 950 at the back, £1,000 there, £1,000, genuine car. More you look at it, 1,050. Do you want 11? 1,100, £1,100 I've got, 1,150, 1,150. Have another, 1,200, £1,200, 1,250, 1,250. Last time looking round, 1,250, 1,250. Selling, 1,250. Thanks for your bidding, chaps.
Nick's day gets even better. Now running at nearly £4,000 for two cars, one's headed for the crusher.
The Jag fetched £1,200. Probably a little more than I expected it to fetch. I mean, I'm no expert myself, but it'll make a lovely car with that when it's renovated, yeah.
This morning, Paul's heading out to collect another pair of luxury classics. But these are a bit more intact than recent examples.
I'm selling my two classic cars. Been my pride and joy for quite some time, but I need the capital because I'm going to invest in some property.
Martin Gale of Selby will be parting with his 1991 Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit and his 1967 Rover P6 2000 in Zircon Blue.
I love the Rolls-Royce. I really do love the Rolls-Royce, and I always wanted a Rolls-Royce. It's been with me now 2 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of driving it. It's really miles for smiles. There's lots of power, and it's very, very comfortable. It's like a gentleman's club with the wooden leather. The seats sort of give you a hug as you sit in them. They wrap themselves around you. It's a big car from the outside, but when you're actually driving it, it doesn't feel that big, strangely enough. It's a 6.75 litre engine. You can hear it if you was to plant your foot down hard on the accelerator, but the car's not made for that. It's made for cruising and wafting, really. Brand new, it was ordered with a pipe holder and wiring for a fridge. It hasn't got the fridge, and I don't smoke a pipe.
Martin's other car was dubbed the poor man's Rolls-Royce, and he's given it a lot of attention over the 10 years he's owned it.
The car had been restored bodily-wise before I bought the vehicle, but I have done a lot to it mechanically. I did have the engine rebuilt on it. I've renewed the fuel system front to back, and I've also recently done the rear suspension on it. It is a good car. When I first passed my test, Dad had a Series 1 similar to this, but in red. And it was really one of the first cars that I drove about in when I first passed my driving test. So I suppose that's one of the reasons why I went for one, you know. Yeah, it's part of my history.
What have you done to the weather?
Yes.
It's lovely in Thornton, and as you come on, it's getting darker and darker, and then it turns to wetter and wetter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
seems to be a feature of the weather around here just lately.
yeah, that's right. Looks a nice car, Martin.
But that's the Rover. It hasn't been used for about 18 months. I'll go and get the keys.
Good. Yeah, no, that's no problem. And the rolls, yeah. Again, looks a tidy old car.
Yeah, it's okay. I had it when I took it to the garage and had the suspension done on the back.
Yes.
The spheres and that renewed. They said it was nice.
Yeah.
There's only one little bit of rust that I can find on here, and that's it. Just a little bit there. That's good for one of these. Anyway.
It is for one of these.
They do tend to rust.
Yeah, sadly. People are a bit scared of them, aren't they?
Yeah. I think the bills frighten people.
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, ironically, they don't really cost a lot more to run than anything else, and they don't ail for a lot, really, as a rule, do they?
No, I mean, the engine's...
start off with a good one.
Yeah, I mean, the engine, that's bulletproof, and you know...
That's right,
and everything, you know. Yeah. You can keep them on the road reasonably.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Both of these cars, particularly the Rover, are in very good condition. But one has tripped at the final hurdle.
Oh, dear. I've got to jump it off the Jag.
How indignant for her.
I know, yeah, poor old girl. There you go.
She tried her best to stay, but unfortunately it's time for her to go. So there we are.
I think it's a nice old car, really. It certainly looks on the face of it, doesn't it? It looks a real clean, genuine old Rover. It jumped out of reverse, but then they were, I think they were known for not the best gearbox. Other than that, it seems okay. 59,000 miles. Always nice to get one that hasn't been around the world, you know. They're inevitably, they've done a few miles. There we go.
I'm looking for about 10k really for the pair of them. Yeah, it is a sad moment to see them loaded up onto the truck, but I just hope the next owner really enjoys them.
Back at the garage, and the Spitfire's making a quick dash to the showroom before it rains. Derek's ready to play his favourite game, trying to spot something wrong with a perfect car.
Well, look at that. It's a work of art, isn't it? Beautiful. What a lovely bit of kit. Not many people do this. They don't pay enough attention to wheels. Wheels and windows make a car. Clean a car, make sure the wheels are right, the windows are right, you clean 500 quid onto it. And he makes a right good job of them wheels, as you can see. Yeah, anyway, proper old car. Nice job, look at this. Look at this lovely job. Look, on this air filter box, absolutely superb. Got the right colour on there, that's the colour it should be, or as near as damn it anyway.
You put your feet on the wheels.
Yeah, I don't matter about the tyre. And all round here, where they normally pickle up because of a bit of spillage, brake fluid spillage and clutch fluid spillage, and he's obviously cleaned all that off and made a right nice job of it. Could do with that, just that painting, but you know, maybe just had a bit of a late night and forgot that bit, but that's easy enough done. Nice new bolts here and there.
This is a new car, isn't it?
Well, in its appearance, it's as near a new car as you can get, I would think, in appearance. I mean, I haven't driven it. My experience is Spitfires drive awful. You never want to drive a Spitfire with a hood up. If you test drive a Spitfire with a hood up, you'll never buy it. Drive it with a hood down, different car altogether. But lovely car, yeah, right model, right year, right colour. Just a super car, just very saleable, extremely saleable. Arguably, Spitfires in this condition are a bit expensive when you compare them to MGAs and stuff like that. They're not that far behind an MGA, it would appear, on a retail basis. All these lovely spot wheels in here, look. So it left the factory. And,
so that's important?
Well, it is to me. It tells me that the car is nice and original and genuine, because if it hadn't been, that would have been lashed over with filler, wouldn't it, and smoothed over. Little things that Martin does. is you look at the seat runners. They've been taken apart and painted before they've been put back in, look, and cleaned up and all the rest of it, and just given a coat of silver. What a difference, mates. And look at that. Shuts like a Golf. Is it a Golf? No, it's a Spitfire, surely. It is definitely a Spitfire. It says it on the back. But a Spitfire should not shut like that. There's something wrong. It's absolutely lovely.
That's going to appeal to a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. Well, for a start, if anyone wanting a Spitfire's got to buy it, haven't they? They've got to buy it. But you'll find that a lot of the dealers will clamour for this because they can advertise this as one of the best in the country, one of the best restored Spitfires in the country, with confidence and knowing full well that when the guy comes and looks at it, he's going to be pleased and he'll buy it.
The doors may shut with factory precision. But will Derek's dealer purchase prediction be right?
All right, love.
Look at the size of that.
Master renovator Martin Morocco is here to see if he'll recoup his 15 grand, while auction day visitors clamour for rare memorabilia.
This monkey boat poster, I love monkey boats, very collectible.
We've just been looking at a few spotlights and various other bits and pieces, but I don't want to buy another post box.
1966 Triumph Spitfire, red one. Will not find better, cannot imagine better. What a car, nice early Spitfire. Now the beauty of it, the gentleman who done this, I know him very well. And as he said to me, you might as well start with a good car or start with a bad car. You could have wiped that over with an oily rag and it would have still looked good. 1966 Triumph Spitfire, start me on it where? 10, 10, 5, 11, 5, 12, 5, 12, 5 I've got, 12, 5 and going, 12, 5 and away, 12, 5, 13, 13,000 on my right, 13,000, you're both out now, 13,000, how can you value it for that? Impossible, 13,000, the work that's gone into that, 13,000, going provisionally for the first, second, third and last time on my right, 13,000, 13, thank you.
Sold to regular buyer Rob Sturrock from Norfolk. And as predicted, a smart dealer would not let this one slip through the net.
You can't compare it to anything. The only thing you compare it to is a brand new car. It's just the best of the best. Once in a blue moon, a car like that comes up, and I see that sort of thing. I have to buy it. I've got to buy it. It's absolutely fabulous. I mean, a credit to the owner and the restorer. Probably the best one you'll ever see. It's just had everything done to it. I mean, it is perfection.
At the garage, Derek's put aside some time to inspect his sort of car.
The crazing on that bonnet, look.
The very original Rover P6 from 1967.
I love them. We've done all right with these. I mean, I think it would be wrong for anybody to say that they totally dislike a car that they sold so many of. Ever so popular with middle management, company owners and such like. And pretty quick. I mean, 2000s weren't sort of rocket ships, but the V8 was. Something about it, you can tell a car, can't you? Really, if you've got any sense, anything about you. And I buy cars from 20 feet away. If I haven't bought a car from 20 feet away, when I get closer, I ain't going to buy it, because it never gets any better when you get nearer to it, I can assure you. So if it looks right from 20 feet, the chances are it's going to look right when you get there. So yeah, quality. I like them very much. I think this will do quite well. It's a really nice, bonny, straight car, good-looking car. I see no reason why it shouldn't cause really good interest. These are nice, look, little illumination tops on them. So when you're sitting in there, you've got the side lights on, you can see that actually light up a little bit. Supercar, I think it's great. I think it's going to sell well. I'd be very surprised if it don't. It'd be a shame if it don't, because someone will buy himself a beautiful car by the looks of it, and something to be very proud of.
At the auction, the Rover joins swathes of desirable classics looking for a new home.
You've got your eye on the Wolseley, haven't you?
If I've got the sort of money, then I'll have one of them,
Others drawn to bits of memorabilia they never knew they wanted.
2 Jaguar plaques, one I think was by accident, but doesn't matter, and some really dirty, rusty oil cans.
Outside, and for once not being rained on, the Rover has found someone to stroke it.
I've had a couple of Rovers like this many years ago, and quite fancy another one again someday. This is quite tidy, so probably it would do me, if I decide to buy it.
And in the audience, a familiar face. Martin Morocco, the restorer of the perfect Spitfire, has his perfectionist eye on an easy project.
Rover, one of my favourites. Cut my teeth on these. 1967 Rover 2000 SC, Zircon Blue, best colour. Cracking car, super bit of kit. Start me on it. 67 she is, lovely, lovely, genuine looking car. Where are we going to be with it? Come on. Where? 3,000 surely, 3,000 pound, 3,250, 3,250, 3,500, 3,750, standing in the blue, 3,750, 3,750 there, 4,000, M the bidder, 4,000 in the seats, 4,000 pounds, selling and away, 4,000, is the one anywhere, 4,000 pound before I sell it, 4,1, 4,100 at the front, 4,002, 4,200 in the seats and going, 4,002. What do you think? 4,002, she's sold and away. Are you sure you're done? You're out in front, you're out in the back. M's the bidder, 4,200. Last time looking round, a cracker, 4,200. Sold, 4,200. Lovely car.
Martin gets his reward. A 60s classic he can actually drive home.
Yeah, very pleased. I know the car, I know what is spent on it, so I'm very happy with it. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm restoring another one for myself, and I know what they cost to do, and you cannot restore one for what I bought this for today. So I think it's a bit of a bargain, really.
It wasn't the only bargain on offer. The Rover's stablemate was up for grabs too.
Silver Spirit, 1991, bonny looking car.
When it first wafted out of the factory, it had a price tag of 100 grand. But today...
You're out, 7,000, Angela's phone, thank you very much.
As for the 1989 barn find Jaguar XJS, it's now all polished up and getting some long overdue sun in Bridlington. New owner, Mike Whaley, a novice in the world of classics, is impressed.
It's ridiculously comfortable and, the chrome is gorgeous.
But Mike's enthusiasm for a new challenge nearly took him in a different direction.
I was looking at the barn find Mercedes Sports and realised it was way beyond my pay grade in terms of the skill set, or in my case, lack of them. So I just happened to notice this at the back and I thought, what a stunning colour. Looked at it, I opened the door and it's got that take me home smell about it.
Mike did take it home, but on the back of a truck because it wouldn't start. In some ways, it's a different story now.
That's amazingly smooth. We made sure it was firing, so we just checked the electrics, drained the fuel out, pulled some fresh fuel through it, put the battery on, and away we went. This section here and inside there is fantastic. The problem occurs once you get below a certain level, sort of sill level. It goes downhill rapidly.
The Jag failed its MOT.
It needs a lot of welding doing to it. I think they call it a bit spongy underneath, but I've signed up for a welding course, and also I can't paint, but I've decided that this is the car where I'm going to learn to paint as well. So I've ordered a generator, I've ordered a compressor, and I've ordered a little MIG welder, and who knows where that might lead.
I've got to admire your determination here, Mike.
Well, is that stupidity as opposed to...
I'm trying to put it politely.
I could see that. Who wouldn't like this car? I look at it and I just think it's fabulous. It's a gorgeous, very, very stylish car. It's going to be a labour of love. Very steep, a very bitter, and probably a very expensive learning curve of untold proportions, I would suspect. But I'm enthusiastic, and God loves a triumph.
Castle Howard, one of Yorkshire's most impressive piles. Vanbragh's famous backdrop to Brideshead Revisited. Its impressive gardens, home to one of the best classic car days out of the year. Making its debut, the P6 Rover, lightly tweaked in Martin Morocco's workshop.
I'm very pleased. The jobs that needed doing are very minor ones. When I got it, the gears were almost impossible to select. You got used to it, you could drive the car, but the gears were very, very poor. And I knew exactly what that was. There were two components on the gear selector, and these components wear. And it's so common that I actually keep them on the shelf at work. It took us 20 minutes to put those on, and that's transformed that. We've restored the number plates because they looked awful before, they were very tatty. We've rebuilt the number plates. We've set the engine up a little bit. It runs a lot nicer now, starts a lot better. And there are still a few niggly bits to do, but nothing major. There's something vibrating behind the back seat which drives me mental.
Sitting for 8 hours in a field allows Martin time to appreciate how innovative the Rover was in the 60s.
The switch gear, these were all designed with safety in mind. Everything is pointing downwards and rounded edges, which perhaps doesn't seem much. In the event of an accident, there's very little which is sharp in here. The steering column is collapsible. That's one of the things, but technically, it has rear inboard disc brakes, which is, in its day, was almost unheard of. It was almost racing car stuff, you know. I mean, we look at it now and it doesn't mean that much to us, but in its day, it was very, very advanced. It was one of the earlier attempts at keeping the driver safe. This car is built around a very, very strong steel cage, which goes all the way up here, all the way around the car, and the panels are literally just bolted and screwed to it. You are protected inside this steel cage.
Martin is no newcomer to shows like this. Over the years, he's learned to spot the types who attend.
It varies. There are some people that park the car up, have a walk round, and that's it. They don't stand there cleaning the car all day. But some people are fanatical, and they would be out with cotton buds in the air vents and things like that. How sad is that?